Welcome to the studio, special guest, Nyla Rose. Oh, my gosh. First of all, thank you for paying $15 to be here.
Seriously.
I feel so bad.
That's commitment.
Okay, so AEW superstar from DC, still live here. The studio's in Rockville. You had to drive from Alexandria this morning, and I apologize. That's a tough. Also, why do you live in Alexandria?
Yeah,
because
listen, I grew up in the area. What's up, DMV? What's up, Mo?
We out here.
So I knew what I was getting into. It was worth it.
Okay, good. Okay, so you're here. How many times a year are you traveling with wrestling?
Yes. Every week. It's gotten to the point where when I go to check in for my flight, I just hand in my bag and I'm like, no aerosols, no batteries, no e-cigarettes. No, and they're like, oh, you done this before.
Yeah, right. Okay. So are you from the actual district or did you grow up in VA?
No, I'm from the actual district.
Okay.
Grew up on Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
Born Washington Hospital Center.
Hey,
Lived
shout out.
in the city until I was, 12?
Okay.
And then kind of bounced around. We were in New Carrollton, Maryland, now in Alexandria.
Oh, the dang place.
We hit it all up.
Where'd you go to high school?
TC Williams.
Okay.
Go Titans.
Cool.
Yeah, changed the name, I think, this past year. That was so.
Yes.
Remember the Titans? I watched that movie in Minnesota in 7th grade and thought, like, when I first went to Alexandria, I'm like, this is the same place. Remember the Titans? Because they made it seem like it was Alabama, like the accents and everything.
Dude, funny story about the accents, right? So they had someone from the studio. I don't know who it was, but like language coach, linguistics. I don't know. But they came in to study us to see how we talked.
Yeah.
And we were like, we don't talk funny.
Yeah.
Do we sound that funny?
Really?
Like they actually studied us for a few days.
And they were like, we're gonna make it worse.
Yeah.
They
let's
sound
make it
normal.
Like they followed the kids around with the tape recorders.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way we sound that bad.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
wild.
All right. So the road to being a pro wrestler. I know you like martial arts originally. That was kind of thing first. So how do we become a pro wrestler?
I grew up watching it. I grew up as a fan, watching with my grandma in the district.
Nice.
Like I said, grew up watching wrestling, and it's just always stuck with me. I didn't know it was going to be something I was going to do. I didn't know how to go about doing it. I just thought I was going to be a fan all my life. Somewhere towards the back end of high school, a buddy of mine got in our heads, hey, let's go to pro wrestling school. And I'm like, that's even a thing?
Yeah.
So we did, and then we worked the independent scene. And,
Sure.
He stopped, but I continued, worked the independent scene, got notarized. Not notarized, but noticed, made some waves, got to Japan.
Sure.
And that's
That's big in Japan is pro wrestling, right?
Huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Huge in Japan. But yeah, I got noticed in Japan, got some great opportunities there. And I guess that's what caught the attention of some of the founding members, Kenny Omega, Tony Khan.
Legends.
Of All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
And they invited me to come on and join up.
I think wrestling is a kind of a cool thing in general, but I think the last couple of years, like certainly with the documentaries and Glow and that kind of stuff, putting light on it about like just how much like it's a grind. Like not everybody's doing the big shows. What's the crappiest show you've done, or the crappiest place you've wrestled?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So we have a saying in wrestling, shindies. I can't say on the air
Gotcha.
what. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel it. All right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
So you definitely work a few shindies here and
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And I would say the worst one by far, literally performed in front of 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
In the back of a diner.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure those
back of
people
a
worked
diner.
at the diner.
Yeah, I bet.
Wait,
yeah.
where in the back of it? Like in the kitchen or like behind it?
Behind it, outside. However, the kitchen was our cut through to get to the ring.
Oh, man.
So we had to cut through the kitchen to get to the ring. I'm
Snacks and fries?
100% sure
Yes.
some health code violations.
Yeah, but I feel like that's got to be such a character builder. I mean, I do stand up, and there's been shows that have been horrendous, but I know, like, I got to fill my time, and, like, you just kind of got to put your head down and just go through it, right? You can't just leave early.
Or for sure.
Yeah.
It's paying the dues.
Yeah.
I never knew what that meant till I started doing it, and I'm like, that's what this is.
Yeah, my goodness. Okay, so now with AEW, that's got to be so cool, too, that there's even more companies. Obviously, there's the big dog, but the fact that AEW, like 3 years old, something like that? 4 years now.
old.
Okay. So
This dog is growing.
Yeah, I was going to say, but to be able to do this every single week, it's got to be wild.
It is. It's wild. It's taxing. You know, you got to have some downtime if you're a performer for one of the wrestlers. Downtime is just as important because you got to need your body to recover so you're ready to go the next week. And like I said, this dog is growing. We started with Dynamite, our flagship show, October 2nd. We're returning tomorrow to the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Come on out.
Yes.
AEWTix.com, TIX.
Come on now. Let's go.
But yeah, so since then we've got Rampage, another show that shows on Friday nights on TNT. And then we're about to launch our next show, which is going to come on TNT as well, Saturday nights. I believe the 17th Collision, AEW Collision from Chicago will be our first show.
So what's it like being a kid from D.C. who is now a ginormous professional wrestler?
Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Absolutely bonkers. One of the funniest stories I have about that is I don't put two and two together. I just go about my life, go about my business. I'm just me.
Yeah.
But I took my mom. I was helping her run some errands. We went to Walmart. We went to Walmart, and somebody gets out of the car and they're like losing their mind, and I'm like, "What's going on?
Yeah,
like,
who's here?
Like, who's here? Like,
Yeah.
And he was excited to see me, and he like runs up and he's like, "Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture?" I'm like, "With me?" And he's like, "Yes, with you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure."
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "Well, I need toilet paper."
Yeah. Got a big old poops on deck, like everybody else does.
Need the same stuff you do.
Yeah, right. Well, so the show at Capital One, have you performed at Capital One? I know AEW has been, but were you on the card the first go around here?
I was.
Yeah.
We kind of did things a little bit backwards, which is very exciting. Most wrestling shows, they start with like the TV show and then they move on to like their movie, whatever.
Yeah.
We started with our pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And then we got our TV show. You know,
Sure.
I don't know if maybe that's above my pay grade. Maybe there's things in talks.
Yeah.
But we didn't announce it till later. So we did the pay-per-views. Then we got our television show. During one of our pay-per-views, I believe it was All Out, I won a battle royal. 21 people over the top rope.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to get a crack at the first ever AEW Women's World Championship.
Flex.
On our super flex.
Yeah, absolutely.
On our first show on Dynamite, the first ever episode of Dynamite against Riho from Japan.
That's cool.
And we were the star attraction. I'm saying we stole the show.
Yeah, but how cool is that to like, I mean, Cap One is certainly now it's the arena in DC,
Iconic.
but to
Super
like,
cool.
you have the Caps there, you have the Wiz, like everybody, every team that you grew up watching plays there, and then to have 18,000 people there cheering for you. How cool is that?
Super cool, especially like I said, growing up as a fan. I've been there to watch wrestling. I've been there and saw, Diamond Dallas Page and Sting and all these guys.
DDP.
I saw
Oh my
Pink.
God.
I saw Pink courtesy of you guys.
Hey, there we go. All right.
Forever
Love
ago.
that.
But yeah, so to like be down on the floor and actually performing, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I
every
bet.
single time.
Yeah,
That's
stupid
so
question.
cool.
I mean, obviously, maybe putting the curtain back a little bit. So your typical week, obviously there's shows and there's the house shows, but do you guys work with each other, or are you just doing your own training on the side? Are the other wrestlers ever in the same place?
So that answer is a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
Wrestlers that get along with each other,
Sure.
who live near each other, may train together.
Sure.
But some of us are kind of separated from everybody else, so we have to find a way to make things work on our own.
Yeah. So is there a big wrestling here in DC? Like as far as we used to be on in Tampa, and that was like everybody lived in Tampa. But is there other wrestlers in the area? Or is there...
For sure. There's tons of wrestlers in the area, and some that are from the area that have since moved.
Sure.
But yeah, there's tons of wrestlers in the area. We walk among you.
Yeah, okay. If you see the people that look ripped and they can beat your ass, that's them. Talking to Nyla Rose, AEW DC native. I wanted to ask, obviously there's a dark side to wrestling. I think now there seems to be more light brought to that. Is wrestling almost like SNL in a way where it's like you join aware of like the past and you're more cautious to make sure you keep the bad things out? Because taking a million bumps a day, 365, like, are you conscious of that kind of stuff?
For sure. I wouldn't say, and this is just my opinion, I wouldn't say there's so much a dark side anymore, but like you said, it's definitely been there before. It's in the past. But, this new generation, everybody coming up is more aware, more self-aware. They take more care of their bodies in different ways.
Yeah.
So things are much different in a much healthier and positive way.
Yeah, I've always heard the stories of back in the day. It's like cardio. We just drank alcohol.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, must be nice. It's very cool to talk to you, and we've all talked, I think, on Twitter like the last couple of years. Like, we gotta get her in. Rose pointed out a tweet though that I wanted to mention from
it's literally pinned to
December.
your profile.
Yeah, Rose, do you want to spout this off real quick?
Sure. Yeah, it says, in a continuous effort to amuse myself, I have decided that for the upcoming year, if you ask me for an interview, I will be lying through the entire thing. So What's the
You're
verdict?
from Montana.
Yeah, I mean, this is all true.
Yeah. Is that just because you got tired of doing interviews?
It's yes and no.
Yeah.
I love doing interviews. It's a great way to connect with everybody. That's a lie. No, I'm kidding. But sometimes some of the people who are, trying to be on the come up themselves,
Yeah, sure.
get on your podcast, they ask the same questions. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Sure.
you really could Google this in like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
Have we done that so far?
no, not at all.
Shoot. Just trying to
Damn.
right for the right cause. It's funny. So myself, Hoodie, and Eric went to a wrestling match like 2 months ago, and it was my first time going. I had a perception of what I thought the clientele would be, and it wasn't that. It was just you wouldn't
smorgasbord.
if you walked in to saw the concourse, you wouldn't be like, oh, this could have been a Miley Cyrus concert, could have been a Drake concert,
over
could have
the
been
place.
anything. How cool is that? Because I feel like wrestling's kind of transcended just being like, oh, this is for dudes to watch people get beat up. I feel like it's not that anymore.
Not in the slightest. And I'll tell you who loves wrestling: little old ladies.
Oh
That's
my
awesome.
gosh.
Adorable little old
Yeah.
ladies absolutely love pro wrestling. And I say this affectionately because who introduced me to it? A little old lady by the name of Elizabeth Hicks. Shout out to Grandma.
Yeah.
She
I love that.
introduced me to wrestling, and she would get so into it.
Yeah.
Did she trash talk?
She would threaten to beat people with her cane.
Stop
I mean,
it.
that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I love that.
I would listen to the old lady.
Right?
Old people
I
have
would
seen
too.
things, dude. That'd
They
be
can get away
scary as
with
hell.
anything.
Oh yeah. When you win a belt, because you were a former AEW champion, do you get to keep the belt?
Yes and no. You get to keep the belt. It's your belt while you have it. When
Yes.
you lose the belt,
You have to get
you
it
lose
up.
the belt.
So you don't get to keep. It's like you
damn.
don't get to keep like an extra one that's like a.
You
a
don't, but
replica?
some people do get a replica made just to kind of commemorate the occasion.
Did we?
That's cool.
And of course we did.
I
Okay.
was gonna say.
Immediately.
So let's just say
better.
like you're the champ, and after the event tonight, you leave Cap One. Do you physically carry the belt? Because I'd be afraid
Yes.
I'd lose it in the next match. They'd be like, "Where's the belt?" I'm like, it's back in DC.
I left it in my car and
Yeah.
someone broke it.
Yes.
Like
No, that you get to keep the belt. It's yours. It's your responsibility.
Oof.
It's
That's
and it is.
terrifying.
There's a pretty big price on that.
Has anybody
Yeah.
lost a belt before?
Oh, I bet.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it might have happened.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
I would for
no.
sure
Just in-
lose it.
In the history of pro wrestling,
For sure. I would, and I'd be
Oh
the
my
guy.
Gosh, you would be the guy. I thought
Easily.
they were like, like security in suitcases. Like these are expensive. We're gonna keep them on us. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool that you get to keep. Would you take your belt to the bar and be like, look what I got? Just carry it
Hell
around.
yes.
I know John would.
Absolutely. I would flex.
I definitely tried to take it to the grocery store, get some
Yeah.
free groceries.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Groceries are pretty expensive.
Especially
are.
Trader Joe's. The parking lot sucks. You gotta flex some nuts.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
hey, I left my wallet at home, but I do have this.
Yeah, look at this little thing. It's gotta be cool then to do to go like at class reunions and be like, yeah, pro wrestling. It's
Not
gotta be
gonna
pretty
lie,
sick.
I definitely did that.
Yeah, that's a pretty sick flex.
Definitely
you know what
did that. It was even better. So a little bit more about me. I'm an actor as well. So
Yeah.
I perform. When I did my high school reunion, I literally came right off of stage doing a stage production.
Flex.
And went straight to the reunion.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, no, I just closed my show and got a match on
That's
Saturday.
cool.
Did you
That's
show up
cool.
in costume? Because that would be even better.
That'd be so sick. Okay, so tonight AEW is at Capital One. Being that you live here, how is the time frame different for what you do? Like, what time you get into the arena? Like, what's your day look like past this?
It's super lazy.
Yeah.
It's super lazy.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not so much on the go. I can kind of take my time.
Yeah.
Go get a fancy coffee from somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm probably gonna stroll in a little bit closer to call time.
Yeah, I suppose because you're here and you know traffic, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then so like if the show starts at like 7, do you just sit in the back and just hang out until your match starts, or what are we doing?
For the most part, yes.
Yeah.
But you got to warm up. There's stretching. I like to get there a little bit early, get some ring time.
Yeah.
Roll around a little bit, loosen those hips up.
Sure.
Because you never know what the day is gonna call.
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, I bet. Golly.
Yeah, last week, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, tried to kill me when she pushed
Yeah.
me on the top of my head.
Can't trust
Oh my
doctors.
gosh.
You definitely got to loosen up. That's what I'm saying. Nobody likes the dentist, right?
Well, it makes
Right.
sense. And speaking of loosening up, our boy Eric has been walking around like he got his ass beat backstage. So we might need to get him to stretch because that man he's
Seriously.
absolutely just getting
What
it.
is happening?
This has been so cool, Nyla. So if you're going to the show, if this is your first time or even thinking about going to an AEW event, what should somebody know about tonight? What should they expect?
It's a little bit of everything. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. It is like an interactive rock and roll show, I say. You got the loud music
Yeah.
when people come
So
out.
cool.
Flashy costumes, pyrotechnics.
Hell yeah.
You know, when I come out, you might want to get a fan going because I get the flames going.
Hell yeah, that's
And
sick.
drop some fire on
Do
them.
you
Hell
get
yeah.
to
It's
design
gonna
your
be good.
opening?
Yes.
That's
yes.
cool.
I got a
That's
little bit of
so
input on the
cool.
opening, and you know, Cody was like, "Hey, what do you think about flames?" Like, yes,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
fire. I want all the fire.
Yeah.
Give me-
Who's got the best opening besides you?
besides me,
Like the best entrance music?
Marina Shafir,
How about
my partner
How about of all time?
of all time. Ooh, that is a tough
Like the one like where when that hits, everybody knows, oh, that's this person.
That's a tough one. You know, I would say probably Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
go with him.
Little Y2J action?
Little Y2J. When he comes
Oh my
out,
God.
everybody's singing his music.
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
singing his song.
Yes.
So it's good on him.
Oh, that's awesome. Nyla, people want to. Oh, sorry, Rose, you have a
I
question?
was gonna say, who was your icon? Like the wrestler that was like the icon for you when you growing up.
Oh, tough question. There were so many. Trish Stratus, Lita, Undertaker, Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Just so many.
My dad had Brock Lesnar as a student at the University of Minnesota.
Get out.
Flex.
Flex.
When he was just national champion back in the day. Yeah. I guess my dad said whenever he needed help with the AV department, he'd send Brock down and it would get fixed like
Brilliant.
that. Oh,
Brilliant.
yes.
I can imagine.
Nyla, this has been so cool. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming in. If
thank
people want to
you.
follow you, they can follow you where?
I made it super easy.
Yes.
At Nyla Rose Beast on all the things. You know, Twitter got rid of my blue check mark, but
Yeah. same,
heard that,
same.
sis.
but
Heard that.
it says the real one. So
Yeah,
you know
that's
it's
how you
me.
know. Have a good night, safe night as well.
Yes,
Thank you.
kick
Kick some ass with the DMV.
Yeah.